Hello, beautiful souls. I'm live. I'm live here on Instagram, and I'm also recording this episode as a podcast. So if you're listening live or in the replay, hello to you, and thank you for coming along. And today's theme for me is very much about being able to build the foundations of our dream lives and learning how we can take that building, that creation of our dream lives, the mountain of our dreams, step by step, and how to both reflect on our achievements and then also being able to really feel into that future with ease and flow, finding that path all the way up to the top of your mountain that is the easiest one for you. And of course, these things in life are never easy, but we are always given choices and decisions to make on our journeys. And so I'd like to share a little bit about my life journey at the moment. Lots of exciting things are happening, and the mountain of my dreams is being able to create a beautiful life for myself and my family where we can live in abundance whilst serving the planet. And so my mission in this life is to very much help others on their journeys, to help people raise their vibrations, help them understand their awakening journeys and be able to step into their highest timelines, their highest selves, to activate all those beautiful superpowers that they have and be able to bring them to actual life in this lifetime, and to help others, to help this whole planet. And we're going through such a big change in the planet at this time, and also right across the universe. And so it's a real opportunity and an honor to help and serve others. And yeah, on that journey to get there, to get to that dream life, I'm going through like a huge transition in my life. And it's been step by step. And if I reflect a little bit, what I'd love to do is just share with you the journey that I've been on so far, getting to the foundations of my dreams, so that it can give you a sense of, like, I feel like me expressing some of the fears that I've had and have, and how I'm working through them and overcoming them, are really powerful lessons that I know that the past version of me, even a couple of years ago, would have really loved to have heard. So if John, in the past, you've invented time travel and you've come back to this present moment to learn more, well, I hope you enjoy it. And if you're John from in the future and you're coming back to now, I hope you enjoy watching this also. So yeah, about 2017, I went through an awakening and started meditating every day. It was in meditation that I had an awakening. And then through the following years, I was connecting with my guides in meditation each day, and channeling in messages for songs and creating songs. And then around, it must be around 4 years ago now, I began really using that gift to start doing things like energy clearing and healing for people. So I started with like clearing negative energies and entities from people. And I started doing this in Zoom sessions. So I knew that this isn't something I could learn from other people. I had to go through it myself, and I had to experience the, like, learning on the job, like learning what my clients would need, and feeling into the abilities that I had. And each session I did, like, developing those abilities. And of course, there's many people that have inspired me and continue to inspire me on my journey and help kind of disrupt some of those mental models, those mental limitations that I've had. And so, yeah, I started out really just as a hobby, doing what I described initially as darkness clearing sessions for people. And so I started with a couple of friends, and then I got them to provide testimonials, and then I reached out to a couple more friends. And then I kept going. So I'd set up a Zoom call, I'd go into meditation, I'd send in healing energy. And in fact, I'm going to try that just now, because I love, like, bringing in some practical examples. So let me just try and send you a little bit of healing energy if you choose to accept it. Just put my coffee down. Okay, so just set up a safe space. Just give me a moment. And taking in 3 deep breaths in through the nose. And I'm creating a safe space around us. Okay, and then if you choose to accept it in your heart just now, I'm going to send in some healing energy into your heart. Good. Thank you for that. And thank you for your patience as I set up a safe space. I hope you really enjoyed that, and I hope you felt it. At very least, the Om sound. That's literally how I started doing this work. And I think it's helpful for me just to reflect on that, because how I felt at the time was, what is this? Where is it going? It feels really magical. Like even just doing that exercise just now, I feel calm, I feel protected and loved, and I feel that energy like still flowing through me, from me to you. And so there's this magic that was calling me. It's like, Jon, the magic, it's like there's more to discover, there's more that I can do to help others. So we often connect with our passions, and we feel the fire of our passion like calling us. And so that's really, really enjoyable and really exciting to do, just to follow that passion and that fire. And it's fun, right? Just like when we were kids, we would play for hours and hours and hours, just doing these things because they felt right, because it felt good and it felt positive and it felt creative. So that's how I started. And I'd say for the first couple of years, I just continued to do that. I felt like it was going somewhere, and I felt like the more experience I was getting, like I started being able to see much more in client sessions. So the more I did it, because prior to then, I didn't really consider myself psychic in any way. Well, not in any way, but in maybe a traditional sense, or what my expectations of a psychic would be. And I also started with fairly limiting, like self-limiting beliefs, like only certain people have psychic abilities. And that's not true. Like we can all choose to develop our abilities. Just like, you wouldn't say no one could go to the gym and build muscle. Like you can, like everyone can, even if it's a small amount, or even if it's maintaining and toning, like you can do it. So I continued with the sessions, and I started to be able to see, people's chakras and their energy. I could see the entities that were attached to them, whether they're quite small or sometimes really big. And the work continued to stretch. And I remember there was a period, I think it was coming up for maybe the first 12 months to 16 months, where the frequency spectrum of the work I did massively expanded. And so I went from, just being able to see people's, their human form and their energy flows and like their chi energy. I could also start to travel through space and time, and I would travel to the underworld, to the lower levels, or hell, as we'd call it, and retrieve people's soul fragments. And then I would also, face a lot of demons on that journey. And then I would also go up into the highest vibration realms and connect with some people's spirit guides are really, really high vibration. Some of them are above angelic, like just almost at one with the source of love of this universe, this unity, or God, or whatever you'd like to call it, him, her, it. I don't know God's pronouns. So that was really powerful to experience. And as that breadth increased, the depth increased also. And so I could become like my sight and my senses, my ability to talk to guides and different ranges of guides. I remember initially I would really struggle to be able to communicate with anything beyond like humanoid forms. And I would ask them, like, if they appeared to me, maybe it's like a cloud or a rock being or something. It's like, please, come to me. Could you show yourself as a humanoid, like, or human, or like an animal that I was familiar with? And the guides are always very obliging, but it sometimes took, sometimes you lose a little bit in that translation, that transformation. And so as I started realizing that I should just make this hobby at the time as easy as possible. So I created a website, a Wix website, wix.com. This podcast is not sponsored by them. And I created my own website. Coming from a software engineering background, I've worked for web design companies and led teams that build websites, many websites, that I knew a lot about the basics, and I knew a lot about how to, at least the basics of design and you call it like the information architecture, like the flow of how all these things should flow in your website. So I built that, and I thought, this is good. I can allow people to book sessions when I'm available. So I could say, here's the times I'm available. And then I could also charge people as well. And so I'd have, came up with prices and allowed people to charge. Now, one very human thing to reflect on is, like a lot of website platforms, the Wix website platform is really expensive if you, especially the more and more features you sign up for. And I think maybe at the cheapest, I had it maybe in a year for about 280 or 300 pounds. And I think it's much more now. I think it's, with all the features, probably it'll be somewhere between about 380 and maybe 500 pounds a year. And that's a lot, right? When you're starting a hobby to pay that every year, and in your mind you're thinking, well, if I was to create this as a business, how do I make it scalable? And so the kind of ease and flow aspect of it was really appealing to me. So I just started all the setup. So you could choose a service, the service would describe what it was, you could book it, the payment would come immediately through to me, it would be booked in my calendar. I synchronized it with my personal calendar so that, I couldn't be booked when I was away on holiday or vacation. And that really helped me start to build that business of what is now Jon Binnie Spiritual Mentor services on my website. And I would do, and still to this day, largely, I would often do things like Sunday nights and Monday nights, because I'd have, the Friday and Saturday to spend time with my family, and we'd go traveling, and then we'd usually be back by the Sunday nights because the kids have to get back to school. And so that gave a pattern and like a frequency to doing this work. And then as things developed last summer, I was thinking, how would I turn this into like a full-time job? And I think some of the first things I had challenges with was it to many people in this planet at this time, that work, like energy clearing and healing, past life regression, they're very woo-woo like terminologies and very metaphysical work, and you can't get a qualification in it, and you can't do a lot of the traditional things that you would, like there's a lot of places you can't advertise the work because you can't get a qualification in it, and especially when most of it's like self-taught. I found that quite hard. I was like, well, how do you build a business on something that people don't even understand? And like last summer, I just had a really hard time, and I posted a separate video and podcast about this. It's called My Deepest, Darkest Shadow Work. I remember creating a training course called the 7 Chakra training course, because I wanted to build something that was sustainable. And it's like an online training course. So I don't teach it. You just, you pay for it, and then you go through these sessions, these 7 sessions. And I put far too much energy into it, and really burnt myself out, along with a lot of other things that was going on in my life, including in my corporate job. And I've been in the software industry for over 26 years. So there was just like this kind of pivotal moment where I just burnt myself out, and it's like, I've got to stop. I've got to stop doing this. And hello to everyone that's joined. Hi to Marcus and to Fuller Love. So yeah, that was a real reflection point for me, because I realized that I had to change. There was something about me, not my business idea. It was about me that I needed to change, because I could see lots of other people making, and still to this day, making, great livings and being able to help, hundreds of thousands of people, through their energy healing, or their psychic readings, or whatever work they're doing. And I thought, I have these same abilities. So why am I finding myself in this kind of, constrained state and not sure where to go next? So I did my work. I did my inner work first of all. So I faced a lot of those shadows, and a lot of it was facing the shadow of lack, and we program ourselves to do it, right? Like in my corporate job, I go in each day to work, and I feel the tendency for me is to make myself feel bad about the things I haven't done yet, instead of getting excited about the things that I am still to do. And then I feel bad that, maybe someone's been waiting on me, especially if they're in a different country, and they've been waiting a lot of their working day for me to come in the next day and do the work before they wake up. And just that constant pressure I put myself under, like, it's never enough. It's never enough. And then that, coupled with like making myself feel small, coupled with like making myself also like a salary slave, a wage slave, put me in a position where it's like, for me to punish myself every day and feel like I'm not good enough going into my corporate job, even though I've been in the industry for 26 years and achieved such incredible things and world firsts in the artificial intelligence industry, it was still like wasn't enough for me. And so that, coupled with the money side, which is fantastic, in the software engineering industry, it was just like, you make yourself feel this small, and then you get all this money. And it's like, that's a really broken, paradigm to find myself in. And so I realized there was a lot that I had to do to break out of this mentality. So I went through my healing last summer, and then I started to see that I needed help from others. And I started to find mentors that would help me. And there's, shout out to my mentors and coaches that are watching. I'm not going to go to them in detail, because I'll just start, talking forever about how amazing they are. There are separate videos about them. But what I would say is, one of the biggest kind of epiphanies I had was that I needed to do work on myself to break through some of these self-limiting beliefs. So, and I remember thinking, what's the difference between John that, wakes up one morning and thinks this hobby is not viable and that I'm not good enough to be able to run a business, compared to the John that wakes up in the morning and says, I am good enough to be able to run my own business, and I can turn this hobby into like a full-time, like lifetime of work. And it is the best way that I can serve others, and help the planet at this time. And so yeah, I started doing that work, podcasts and listening to podcasts, joining membership groups, doing the work, facing my fears, writing down those fears of lack, and then learning the techniques about how to tackle lack. And so, so one of those, so so my current situation is I have a house, a beautiful 4-bedroom house. I have a car, a caravan, which is like a trailer, and a camper van, which is like a van, has an engine. And we were also letting out a holiday house down in the Scottish borders, and a family of 2 teenagers and my beautiful wife and a dog. And I'm like, I am the main wage earner. How do I go from all these things, or like maintaining them or in some way, to to then allow myself to build a foundation for my business? And I realized that there was something like burning inside me, which was, the more I delay, the more I wait to take the bold leap, the longer I'm waiting to start to build the foundations of that business, of that dream life. And so I started to behave in a way that saw that it is inevitable, like that it is, that this is my dream life, and that I am creating it, and I'm doing it right now. And even though these things seem quite scary, even though that mountain seems really, really high, and sometimes you can't even see the top of it, it's so high up, that it is inevitable that I will achieve it. And that made a big difference. I was like, if I believe that I can do it, and I know I can do it, how will that change my actions in the short term? And so I started doing all the things. This was about November, and then probably into December, I started doing all the things. So I thought, well, I don't have any qualifications in the space at all. I'll get a couple like that are relatively close, to give both myself some experience of the training courses and what it's like, and then also to have some credentials, even if they're really not that close to the work I do. And so I qualified as a mindfulness teacher in October last year, and that was really beautiful. I met some beautiful souls, and they are very much what I also realized in these courses, that these people are also like perfect clients for me. And like Reiki healers, counselors, tarot readers, psychic mediums, like they're all such fantastic people. People that are on their spiritual journeys to some extent, and they're manifesting their gift in some way, in some modality. That they're my perfect clients. Like I can help them the most. I can train them and help them really open up and develop their abilities. And I did that, and then just shortly after, I also started a reflexology course. Now, the reflexology course is a year-long diploma. And I have to do 100 hours of, so reflexology is foot massage around the reflexes, and it connects to the nervous system, to every organ, every aspect of our body. And that's been incredible to both meet, many people, like doing work like this. It's helped me get like physically hands-on, because otherwise a lot of my work is like this. I'm virtual. I'm doing it online. Although I've done some sessions face-to-face, which are just absolutely fantastic when you're doing like a quantum energy healing or past life regression with someone, and they're there physically, is really powerful. But yeah, the hundreds of sessions I've done so far are typically online. So it was great to meet people in person, and also to hear their stories, to hear people about how they were getting started, doing the things like this, going live on social media, sharing your story, doing, long videos that go into depth about your experience and your journey. And then being able to, start to charge for work so that you can make the work you do sustainable, so that you can help more people. And it's like this beautiful cycle, right? Like the more you can sustain yourself doing the thing you love, the more you'll love helping more and more people. And that's my mission. So into January, I took the bold move, and I finally resigned from my corporate job. And it's really hard, like when you have a very high salary, to then go from like that to my previous year of excuse me, my previous year of income. Was for my business was zero. Like, well, I say zero. I broke even. I managed to pay my bills for my website, I use MailChimp for my mailing, and a few other bits and pieces, and that was my cost covered. And I was thinking, that's gonna get me nowhere. And I think that's actually, a lot of that experience right there is a lot of the problems that I'm breaking through, that I'm healing within myself. So first of all, a lot of people make a loss when they first start this work. They invest in, lots of people to help them, spend money on marketing and, being able to get coaches to be able to like figure out like the right business approach. And I realized that actually so much of this is just my vibration, like put my vibration first, put my self-care, my self-love first, do the things in my life I love doing. And one of those is helping others, but not at the cost of myself or my self-worth or health, because otherwise you'd see me turning up each day and I'd just be like, so drained and so like tired and worn out. And so I recently had these really beautiful themes coming through, which was, that what I've achieved so far is already a fantastic achievement. Even the first year of, properly looking at my finances, and making, breaking even in that, I didn't pay myself for the labor, but I covered my setup costs, was really cool. And then, because what I'm doing is building that foundation, and a lot of this is about exploration as well. So whilst I'm forming all the things that that my business needs, I'm exploring in my business the things that I need, the things that I love to do, and feeling into like, is it sustainable for me to do this? And so, yeah, I started expanding out into, I have a membership group now called the Highest Self membership group. And that kicked off our first weekly or bi-weekly session, where we went on an incredible astral travel in meditation, and held like the source of the universe for long periods, the source of love in our hearts. We were seeing how long we could hold it for, about 30 minutes. That was really intense and really beautiful, and just so incredible to see the members' experiences. And one of them even today like shared, they drew like they did some art, like a sketch of their experience, and that was so magical to see. So, I started that. I started my first foundational training course, the Higher Self Foundational Training Course. And I didn't realize that it was actually quite advanced. Like, although it takes you from, just starting meditation, by the end of it, you know how to talk to your spirit guides, you've met them, you've done your deep, dark shadow work, you've retrieved any parts of you that are, missing or you need to activate in this lifetime, you've done past life healing, and then you've also done astral travel and started to talk light language. Like, that's a lot in just 8 weeks. And it took me, I don't know, a couple of years to get even just through to that stage. So to do it in 8 weeks is just phenomenal to see, and how receptive people are and how hungry they are and how willing they are to do the hard work and really plow through that. It's just incredible to witness and support them in. And then also my sessions, doing lots of sessions with people and getting like testimonials and getting clear on who my perfect clients are. And my perfect clients I describe as people that are simply just really hungry to work with me and to do the work for themselves. And that's kind of it. I mean, there's boundaries like, respect and about, boundaries about time and effort and money. But other than that, like, I feel like when people are truly hungry to do these things, they will put they'll put their own self-development first in their life and really invest in it. so that was really powerful to experience. And then I'd say about 4 people just last week said to me, Jon, look what you've achieved. Please, Jon, take a moment to just reflect on what you've achieved. It's like, what have I achieved? And they said, you've got, because a lot of them were replaying the things I told them. So, about me. So, my, one challenge is I'd do a thing and then I would just, so take big steps forwards, tell the world that I'd done it, and then no pause for celebration. Hello, Evelyn, thanks for joining. So my kind of growth area was to stop keeping running all the time, stop climbing that mountain to my dreams constantly. Take a pause whenever I have a big achievement. Pause and stop and take a breath. Maybe have a snack. Turn around and look at the beautiful view behind me. And some of these things that have happened this year already, and this is me embodying that now, right? Doing that right now, is some of the incredible achievements that I'm so grateful for, and truly astounded for, are my free meditations on my website just exploded. They, because they're the same meditations I use each day and they're the same ones that developed my superpowers and my abilities. And when people, and I wrap them in a little 14-day challenge for people to do. And so if you're interested, that's called the 14-day spirit guide meditation challenge. And it takes you on a big journey, right? It takes you through shadow work and cord cutting and doing quantum energy healing and clearing and protection and talking to your spirit guides. It's like a free training course all in itself, but it's all about getting you to focus on the practice and focus on giving yourself the time each day to develop yourself and giving you the space, even within the 10-minute meditations, to really do that. They kind of exploded. I haven't done a count recently, but they were between the 7-day, the 14-day, and then all of the meditations. There's something 70 plus people that have been through it just this year so far. And so that's just astounding. So thank you for everyone that's done that. And what I love is every time someone completes a meditation, they send a little message to me that says, what they thought of it. And so my inbox every day is just filled with all these beautiful messages, and I can respond to people and, reflect on their experiences and celebrate that with them, and then ask them for requests that they have for more meditations. And I think those meditations themselves grew from about 17 to maybe 30 plus now. I don't really take account of them all the time. I just keep adding to them. Between that and then having people go through my first training course, and I was so nervous. I just played back the first session of the Higher Self Foundational Training. I listened to it recently, and it's I was really nervous when I kicked off that course, although I knew the work inside out. I've been doing it for 4 years plus. Some of this the daily meditation and talking to my spirit guides and channeling messages I've been doing since 2017, and yet I just felt nervous teaching it to others, because I feel that embodiment and actually doing it and teaching it to people really helped develop me as well. And so grateful for that, and so grateful for the people that signed up. They all sent me messages. We just finished the 8-week class on Sunday, and they're sending me voice messages as well as these testimonials that you see publicly. And they're just really touching. They're just very loving and caring and grateful messages. And they were just describing how I'd helped them and how they'd love to work with me in the different ways that they imagined working with me in the future. So one person, a few people joined the membership group, so I'll keep seeing them every week there in our sessions, or every day in our chat as well, and our challenges that go on in the membership group. Others wanted to take a break and come back for the next course, so that'll be an intermediate course, and I call it intermediate, but it's just everything I know. It'll include some of the things I don't do that much publicly, mediumship, talking to people that have passed over, helping people with their connect with their loved ones. It'll include soul retrievals, where I go to the lower levels of hell and return with the fragment of someone and bring them back together as a whole soul again, so they can be whole and really fulfill their mission in this lifetime. And to the higher vibrations, helping people connect with, these incredible angels and do all the things, readings and healing for people. There's just a long list, and I know I'm forgetting some of it. And so they're excited to go on and do that. And then someone else was asking for, one of the class was asking for like a training course that was, and this will be quite different, and I'm not sure if I'll call it a training course or not. It's somewhere between like a mentoring and coaching and training, where a combination, probably with small numbers or one-on-one, where and if you're interested in this, let me know, where I really focus on my superpower, which is negative entity removal, stopping or preventing demonic attacks, clearing people's homes of negative energies, going to hell literally with them, and being able to bring back those fragments or learn about the healings, traveling to past lives, and then there's also the possession aspect, when people are like their consciousness is compromised, or their blend between their consciousness and their physical being is compromised by often a demonic entity. And so those experiences it's a dangerous thing to do, right? It's a dangerous thing to work to do, full stop. But I've been doing it for years now, like about 4 years. And I feel like it's time that I start to at least teach some of the basics to people. And so I don't plan to go big with that course. I plan to get first of all, I would form, connections with people like through the other training courses, like the Higher Self Foundational and probably the Intermediate training course, and then get them to apply, get them to really think through, because it is hard and dangerous work, and it puts you, your soul, and your loved ones at risk when you take on that work. And so you've got to want to be that, psychic warrior. And it takes its toll. It takes a lot of energy. And, when I'm doing that work, I often need several hours off the next day, or sometimes days off. And sometimes it's like repeated sessions with a client until the work is cleared, or, they're back to be their sovereign self. And hello to everyone that's just joined. Thank you. So yeah, I've just been discussing, reflecting on those things, those, building the foundations of the mountains of your dreams. And my dream is to help, thousands or millions of people in this planet, as we help rebalance the darkness and light in this planet. And it includes raising people's vibrations, teaching them how to, have clear and high vibration energy to step into their dream lives, to be able to teach quantum energy healing and clearing, activate their psychic abilities, meet the spirit guides, astral travel. There's just all these exciting things that I love helping people with. And I hope that the people that I teach, go on and do more for others. So there are beautiful reflections. And then, we're as of today, I'm also in negotiations with my corporate job to see if I can leave early. Can I get a redundancy package? Because at the moment my notice period takes me out, runs on until the end of this year, which is a long time. It's a long time. I get plenty of time to build my business, but not necessarily a lot of time to make space to allow lots of clients to come into my life, or to keep my vibration high. I feel like it goes up and down throughout the week as I step into my corporate world and then come back out into this, even though it's just 3 days a week. And we're also looking into whether we'll sell our holiday home that we've been letting out, because that would help financially for suddenly make a big difference this year, maybe next year, and help me like really get started. And I appreciate up until this time have lived in such incredible abundance, and I'm so grateful for it. It's come at a cost. It's come at a cost of my health, and at times like it feels like my sanity, and also like these, the continual reinforcement of self-limiting beliefs. They've been big costs to that financial gain, and now I'm ready to break through those and to just keep building this dream life of, a balance of work I love, helping others, abundance for my family, and lots of travel as well, and lots of adventures. And I just want to hold space for anyone that's listening to this, if you made it this far or you're in the live stream just now. When you're scared, like it's a real fear I've had, like, and if you see me sharing videos, like every month or two, I'll share a video about how scared I've been of making this big change, and how different it is. Like when I told my manager of my corporate job, like I'm a senior software manager at a very big and well-known corporate company. When I told them I'm not just leaving the company, I'm leaving the industry, and I'm going to do, meditation and reflexology and quantum energy healing and clearing and teach people. They're like, wow, like do it. Like they said, like, follow your passion, and the world needs you. The world needs you, being in your gifts, being in your superpowers. Not to say that I haven't been successful in my software engineering career, 26 years, starting as a developer and becoming a chief technology officers in my last couple of jobs, and now senior manager at an even bigger company. They're all fantastic, but they're just one of the superpowers, my superpowers. And I know that my true calling is now, I feel like I'm promoting myself, out of that constrictive world into a world of infinite possibilities, and that the only limitation is myself. And that gives me real courage and excitement. So that's it. I'm building the foundations of my dreams. I've got a business plan for the next, or should I say a vision, not much of a plan, a vision. And then with the vision, I have like each day, I have like tasks to do. I have like the things that will be the biggest impacting to achieving that vision. And some of it's like working on me. Today will be, periods of rest and sitting with family and being someone that lives in gratitude and so grateful for everything I have in this present moment, and not worrying about the fear of what could go wrong, being excited about what will go right. Sure, there'll be lots of, questions on the journey about how things are going to work out financially for me, but I feel that it's got off to a great start. And this year has already exceeded my wildest dreams. And so, yeah, I'm just so excited. Anyway, enough about me and my journey. I really wanted to kind of vlog this and have as a podcast as well on Spotify and on YouTube, because it's so easy once people have done this, once people have stepped through that fear, that door of fear, it's so easy to be dismissive. I found myself always doing that. Like someone would say, oh, I gave up like, a gazillion trillion pounds a day to then, to nothing. And now I'm so happy. And you're like, how did you do that? And then you listen to their story and you're like, but that, it's so easy just to maybe put them on a pedestal, to idolize them, or be dismissive and go, they can do that, but I couldn't achieve that. Or, did they really do that? Are they just lying? So that's all really super fascinating to experience as a human. And so I just wanted to share this part of my journey with you so that you could get a sense of what it's like for me in this now moment. Building the foundations of the mountains of my dreams. So, yeah. If you want to find out more about what exactly they are in more detail, how I went about like coming up with my vision, you can just have a quick look through my podcasts. Probably easiest to find me on Spotify, but if you look at the podcast playlist, on my YouTube channel as well. You'll see them all there. And it's not that many podcasts ago I was talking about, my dream life and how my mentors have helped change my life. So yeah, that's me. So if you have any questions, you have any requests for meditations, for songs, whatever it is that you'd like me to help with, please do reach out. I'm Jon Binnie. You can find me on here, DM me or jonbinnie.com. And that's me. That's my life journey so far. I'm so excited to share the next steps and wish me luck today in my negotiations for leaving my corporate job. So yes, this is it. Thank you so much. And I'm sending so much love from Scotland. I love you. Bye.